Welcome to Real Reflections, a channel where I reflect on moments in TV and film that really stuck with me and kind of shaped the way I see life. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk about a film that I feel is super underrated. I think it's a hidden gem, and, RIP to Paul Walker. Everybody, used to talk a bunch of trash about him and say, oh, he can't act. He never, all he did was the Fast and Furious movies. But in this movie, he delivers a fantastic performance. And, this is not one of those channels where, I'm going to be dissecting the film, I'm not a professional film critic, okay? I'm not a master of cinematography, of shot design, sound design, any of that. I'm just a dude who has watched movies throughout my life, and certain scenes have kind of stuck out to me, so I want to talk about them. And one particular scene in the movie Running Scared I'm going to dissect today, and that is when one of the kids is kidnapped by two very evil people. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why did you decide to do this for your first video? Well, I had another channel that I tried to get underway called, I think I'll leave it a screenshot here, Sin Excellence, right? And for some reason, YouTube would not allow me to put video of this scene on YouTube. Now, guys, this kind of message I have about this scene is very important to me, and I didn't even care if YouTube just hit me with the copyright. I was willing to be like, okay, whatever. This channel is new. I'm not going to get paid in the long run, with this video, but just give me the copyright, but let it go out, right? But no, every time I tried to upload this video in different formats, I tried everything, guys. I mirrored the video, I put a bunch of filters on the video, I changed the pitch of some of the actors' voices. I did all the tricks you can think of to try and get this past not only copyright, but YouTube actually blocked the video, where how it sometimes says, oh, this video is blocked from being viewed in so-and-so country. I was like, okay, it's one or two countries, right? I'm like, I'll just leave it up anyway. But I look at the freaking thing, and it's blocked, everywhere, almost every single country, including the USA. And I was like, well, that sucks, right? Because, I put a lot of effort, and you guys can actually go watch the other video I did. It was another faceless channel, but in this time it didn't have me speaking over anything. It was just kind of a typing kind of sound effect. But anyway, I did eventually get that video to go up vertical. If you guys check, you're going to see that it's not even horizontal 16:9. It's a freaking like a TikTok aspect ratio, which totally kills the vibe that I was going for in terms of, you guys, if you guys check it out, you'll see what I mean. It kills the whole vibe. You can't even see, things on the left and right. Everything's cropped to hell. And I hate it. I don't like it. So I am going to attempt to do the same thing on this channel, but I'm going to, at first show you what I'm showing you now, different still images from the movie. And when we get into the actual scene, I'm going to try and edit it in a way to where, the clips aren't very long, and hopefully YouTube doesn't find it and block it, from ever being viewed ever again, which that's very questionable to me. Like, YouTube, why do you not want people to see this scene? Why? That's very strange. Why this scene in particular? Because if you guys go to YouTube now and try and search up the movie Running Scared, it's very limited. It's like YouTube is actively trying to hide this movie, and is actually actively trying to, hide this scene, especially the ending of what comes to those people. So anyways, I kind of wanted to give you guys a backstory. This channel is meant to be more of a conversational style. It's like me just talking to a bunch of buddies, about what I thought about this particular scene. And I remember watching this movie. I was around 18 or 19 years old. And I think I was like in my first year of college. And, I had no idea what the movie was going to be about. Some of my friends, just said, hey, we should go watch this movie. And I was like, okay, running scared. And I'm not even a fan of the Fast and Furious movies. I really haven't watched any of them except for the Tokyo Drift movie with the Timu Peyton Manning actor. I forget his name, but, and Little Bow Wow. So I wasn't familiar with Paul Walker, but, everyone has kind of thoughts about him, not being a very good actor. And anyway, so I went into this movie blind, and oh my freaking goodness, guys, this was one of my favorite movies for a very, very long time. This movie is packed with action. The pacing is just so fast. There are very memorable characters. There are memorable moments. You have the wife of Paul Walker. I'm gonna forget her name, and you guys are gonna be like, oh, you call yourself a film fan? Guys, remember, this is not a professional operation. Her name is like Vera something. First of all, she's gorgeous. Second of all, in this film, she is fantastic. She is such a great actress, and I think she kills everything she's in. This scene kind of feels a little out of place, but not really, and you guys will get what I'm saying. Now, in my breakdowns, guys, of course, you're not going to get the entire scene from beginning to end, and I wouldn't want to take away from, your experience to actually see the scene in full. So I'm going to leave a link in the description or the first comment, whatever I decide, to the actual scene on YouTube. And guess what, guys? The actual full scene doesn't even exist on YouTube. You're only going to see part of it, which sucks. But if you guys do want to seek out the whole thing, go and rent this movie somewhere. I don't know where it's available, but I'm sure that's an easy chat GPT question away, and you guys can find where to watch this movie. So without further ado, let's get into the very first episode of Real Reflections, and we're going to talk about the PDF file scene. All right, guys, to give you a little bit of context about this scene, so the little boy, Oleg, was actually the one being abducted by these two child groomers, we'll call them, but we all know what they are. And so this kid was actually smart enough to go to the freaking bathroom, look into the medicine cabinet, and find an address. I tell you what, when I was this kid's age, there's no way I would have thought about this. So this kid is freaking smart. So he was able to find the address, and he was able to phone his best friend's mom, who is Vera. Now, what I love about this shot here is she just gives no flying fucks, bro. She bashes the window open to get access to the building. Now, I wish I can play you guys what was being said behind this door. Actually, I will play it. Here it is.
I'm not touching it. Get away from me. Fuck you!
Oh, little shit! You just bit me!
Yep, you heard that right. They were actually trying to get the kids to touch them. This is absolutely disgusting. Now this lady comes out in a robe, which means that she was unrobed behind that door doing God knows what. And she's trying to put herself together. And even her little doorbell ring thingy is disturbing. It's like everything is so kid-centric. It's creepy as hell. Even down to the doormat, this whole vibe of this scene is so eerie. The music just adds to it. I wish you guys, I really wish I could play this whole thing for you in its entirety. But, as you guys heard in the beginning, YouTube will not let me do that. So I really urge you guys to watch this scene in full on your own. All right, so the lady answers the door, and Vera, our freaking hero, is there. And she's like, I got a call from my neighbor's kid saying that he's being held against his will. And the lady goes, no one's here except for my husband and our two children. And tries to shut the door. And it gets really close to shutting the door. And we, as the audience, were like, oh my goodness. If she would have shut the door, that would have been it. Those kids would have been doomed. But Vera being Vera, she was not going to take that as an answer. and she kind of like puts her hand in the way of the door and opens it and is like, nope, you know what, I'd like to see for myself. Now the lady is like, no, that's ridiculous. And then Vera kind of pulls a 4D chess move. She's like, you know what, fine, I'll just stand here and I'll call the police and we'll see what happens, right?
Or you know what, I'm just gonna call the police. I'm gonna stand here for the next half hour waiting for them to arrive when all you gotta do is just let me in.
Ah, that's so brilliant, right? Because all she's got to do is let her in and look around, or she can have the cops there. So fantastic move by Vera here. So what happens next is Vera actually enters, and the music here and the way the shot is being filmed, and like I said, guys, I'm not a freaking master cinematographer, but everything feels just so claustrophobic. You get a lot of panning shots where it's very close up and you feel claustrophobic because at this moment we don't know what could happen. We don't know if, you know, one of these people could knock her out and then, you know, it's over. You know, she's trapped there and they dispose of her. But she's walking around this room, you know, kind of looking for Oleg, and she's not seeing anything. She even enters the kids' room, and there's actually the two kids there sleeping. I don't know how these adults got these kids to go to sleep. That's another alarming thing. Did they knock the kids out, or did they give them like an instant acting drug, or did they tell the kids, hey, you better act like you're asleep? This is very creepy. And then they enter the bathroom and they see this doofus over here with flossing his teeth. And, you know, man, so far this couple here is doing a good job at quote unquote playing it off like they're normal people, right? He's just like, oh, you know, I'm just here flossing my teeth. And then she comes in and the wife is like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous, right?
Hello?
Don't even ask, it's too ridiculous.
Sorry, I'm really embarrassed.
And it's actually making Vera feel embarrassed, which us as an audience, we're like, no. We're like, no, they're going to get away with it. All right, so Vera actually tries to check the cupboard to see if there's the prescription bottles with the addresses on it. And the lady's like, well, I'm sure he's not hiding in there. And she shuts the door, right? And this is the first instance where this couple, like I said, I don't know what they are, that they fuck up. Because as soon as she's starting to leave the bathroom, these couple, they're like shouting at each other. They're silently shouting at each other. And it's really suspicious as hell. And then we get a shot of the playroom. There's actually another movie called The Butterfly Effect that has a similar scene to this. You know what? I'm going to talk about that movie. Okay, this is a side tangent, but that will be a future video on this channel. But anyway, so this playroom, it's got freaking plastic on the floor, which, why do they have plastic on the floor? It's to kind of, I hate to say it, but when they're doing these gruesome acts and things are getting messy, it's so that they can easily dispose of the mess and remove the plastic and, you know, I don't know, have another layer of plastic underneath for the next person. It's absolutely disgusting. They got teddy bears. They got a freaking, you know, TV. This is very unnatural. This is unnerving. I just love the stare down that Vera gives this woman. She's like, as you can see, there's no Oleg, and she just walks up to her like, bitch, like, you better not be freaking lying. And then us as an audience, guys, we're like, oh no, like they're gonna get away with it, because the next scene is her ushering her to the door, and we're like, if she closes that door, that is it. These kids are done for. But, oh my goodness, just the way this is filmed. The door is about to close, and then we see Vera's hand come in again and stop it.
Where are your children? Photographs. Photographs.
And she makes a freaking brilliant observation. She's like, there are no pictures. You got no pictures in your house of your kids. A normal family, a normal loving family are going to have photographs, family portraits. You know, picture of their kids doing activities. This house felt so cold to her. And what a brilliant mind. That's that motherly instinct, right? And so she barges back in and she demands, you know, she's going, there are no pictures here. This doesn't make any sense. And this is where she's starting to kind of, push on them and press them harder. All right, we're now at a point where it's getting really, really tense. And again, this couple messes up again. They're talking to each other very, very suspiciously. And, Vera's like, okay, that's it. But at this point, Vera is trying to kind of like get a hold of herself because, her mind is going a million miles a minute. And you can see that in the way this is shot. Now, I'm going to show you a quick clip here. It's just like a circling shot. It's fucking fantastic, guys. I love this scene. It is so well done, and it's hidden in this movie that nobody ever talks about. All right, so we're pretty close to the point of no return. Pretty much these guys are saying, hey lady, you better get out or we're gonna call the cops. And Vera turns that around on them and like, yeah, call them right now and tell them that you have 2 abducted children in the next room. And then boom, we hit the point of no return. Vera pulls the gun on them and says, where is Oleg?
Where's the boy? Where is he?
This is such great acting from her. Man, I just can't get over it, guys. Like, I can't get over it. Anyway, this loser, this weakling, this doofus, this evil, pathetic coward over here is signaling to the closet with his eyes because she's asking, where is he? Where's the boy? And oh my goodness, what happens next is just pure terror. So what we see next is the boy has his head wrapped in saran wrap or some type of paper or plastic or whatever, and he just falls over when she opens the door. Which us as an audience were going, oh my freaking God, he's gonna die, right? And now it's a race against the clock, right? Because he's been suffocating this whole time in that closet. Lord knows if he's even alive. So, this next scene that we're going to get here is very tense because she's going to try and give him CPR while holding the gun and while trying to fend off these two, this lady and this guy who at any point could try and bum rush her or, try and tackle her. So this very next scene is freaking intense. And so as she's giving him CPR, we see that the guy attempts to get closer and, she's trying to hold him back or fend him back with the gun and say, back the hell up. And us as an audience, we're like, lady, you need to be looking at them, right? Because they're getting closer. They're going to do something. You can't just be looking down and giving CPR. I know it's important, but at least shoot them in the leg or right. We're like, you cannot, take your eyes off them because they're going to try and do something. But, she does a good job here of holding them back with the gun and kind of screaming out loud, get back.
Back off! I said back off! I will blow you away!
Like I said, fantastic acting from Vera. And oh my God, what a sigh of relief we as the audience actually get when Oleg starts to cough, right? And actually starts to, get some life back into him and wake up, because that would have been horrific if he would have, died there. So, finally, in this huge tense moment, there is some signs of relief for the audience here. So next she instructs Oleg to, go get the other 2 kids and, get out of there. And what we see next is just even more horrifying, and just the way everything is discovered is just really beautiful. And at this point, the guy, the pathetic coward, comes out and says, oh, I got, all this money in cash and diamonds. All you have to do is take the boy and walk away. Leave us alone. What a my blood boils thinking about, people like this actually exist in real life. But anyway, Vera at this point, she kind of, is looking around the place, and she makes some horrifying discoveries. So the way that this scene is set up is so beautiful, right? At first she's in the closet, you know, and she sees the body bag, which why the fuck do they have a body bag, right? And then pulls back the kind of clothes and boom, she sees the CDs, guys. There's a bunch of CDs with, I'm assuming, kids' names on them. And they even are fucking rated with stars. There's 1 star, there's 4 star, there's 2 star. How sick and twisted that these people have to be. I'm assuming what's on these tapes is very, very graphic. Probably gruesome murders of these children, which just to think about that is crazy, and just evil. And then, you know, as she pans down, she sees the equipment that they use. Truly, truly disgusting and horrifying to think about. It is at this point where she's seen enough. She knows that she's staring at true evil. And in one of the best endings to a scene like this is what happens.
What is the nature of your emergency?
I just heard shooting across the hall.
You're not serious.
Talk about satisfying. And that, my friends, is one of my favorite scenes of all time, you know, from beginning to end. From, you know, the suspense, from the thrills, from the tension, from the delirium, everything, you know, not knowing if she was going to come in here and not be successful, you know, to the fake outs, to her almost, you know, leaving and having the door closed on her. And then to her actually, you know, finding Oleg in the condition that he was in, not realize, you know, not what's that called, you know, not knowing if he was going to live or die. And then to this final satisfying conclusion where she decides, like, nope, these people just do not deserve to live. And I don't care what people say, oh, they should have went, you know, had him arrested. Good on you, Vera. Good on you. We need more people like you in the world. But anyway, guys, I wanted to talk about this scene because it really showed me, you know, the kind of evil that exists in this world. And, you know, it could be anybody. Look at these 2 people that pulled this one out. The pathetic coward and his quote unquote wife. They look like ordinary looking people, but, you know, looks can be deceiving. And if this scene taught me anything, is 1, you know, evil truly exists in this world. And 2 is that you can't trust anybody. You cannot trust anybody. But I absolutely love this scene. And like I said, you know, this channel is called Real Reflections, and I wanted to share my love for this scene and this movie with you guys. If you have not seen Running Scared yet, please go see it. You know, take this as a recommendation from me. You know, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but if you're looking for like a fast-paced thriller, I won't tell you how it ends or anything like that. It is what I consider one of, you know, my hidden gems. It's one of those movies that are super underrated that not a lot of people talk about. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode here of Real Reflections, and I hope that you stick along with me for future episodes and subscribe to this channel, like the video, and then leave your comments down below. I actually want to start a dialogue in the comments of maybe people who remember this movie and remember this scene. I also have a ton of ideas and a ton of scenes from a ton of movies that I want to talk about on this channel. So I'm super excited for this journey. And yeah, if you guys have any suggestions too, if you guys, you know of a particular scene that you think I might like, maybe it's something I haven't seen before. But yeah, hope you guys stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.